The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Good morning, Vietnam!
It's time to BS.
Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 24. Jesus. Already off to a fantastic start.
Uh-oh, retard alert!
Already off to a fantastic start. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 24 of the Staniel Smooth Show. My name is Staniel Smooth, the Great and Powerful. And I'm coming to you from the beaches of lovely Long Island, New York, and part of the Belly Up Sports and Belly Up Media Networks. This is the Staniel Smooth Show. You can follow me on Twitter at Staniel Smooth and at Time to BS Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Clips of the show are located at Staniel Smooth on TikTok and on the Time to BS Podcast YouTube channel. So, I'm going to get started on this right out of the gate because this is a re-recording of a previous episode I did on Monday. And in case if you lived under a rock in the last 24 hours or so, if you're a hockey fan, he'd know more. Because from an Islander fan perspective, I saw this coming. I didn't know exactly when it would happen. But Lou Lamoriello has officially been let go as general manager of the New York Islanders. My thoughts. My thoughts are as followed. Conflicted. Relieved. Disappointed. Frustrated. Those four words are how I would feel about this whole thing. Because as much as I would love to say, ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the wicked witch, ding dong, the wicked witch is dead, I can't because, for those who have followed the show for a number of years will know my viewpoints on former Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll and how much I resented him over the years. This is the complete polar opposite. Lou Lamoriello was here on Long Island for 7 years. The Islanders made the playoffs 5 times in his tenure, including most famously back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals appearances. And as much as I want to, as much as people want me to trash Lou in this case, I can't. Because Lou did so much for this franchise in a short period of time. And I understand that there are a ton of Islander fans out there that wanted Lou fired. And some of them even wanted Garth Snow to come back. And my exact response was, why? Why? Lou brought stability. He brought credibility back to the Islanders, which they haven't had in 30 years. You can make an argument for the first time since the 80s, if you want to go back if you want to go back to that point. Probably the late 80s when Denny Potvin retired and when the aura and the mystique of the Islander dynasty was slowly dwindling away. He brought that back. And for that, I can be forever grateful for Lou. However, with that being said, change had to happen. This was a team that couldn't do they have talent. There's no denying that. They have talent on the ice. But when you're a team that can't score, can't defend, is terrible on special teams, that ultimately relies on coaching, yeah, but also who signed those players, who signed those coaches, who brought in the personnel. Lou did, and a lot of this was under Lou's watch, but also in the defensive ownership, he was 83 years old. So I will also give current Islander ownership, John Ledecky and Scott Malkin, a ton of credit where credit is rightfully due. Because Charles Wong would never have done this. Charles Wong would have rode this ship till the end of time. Don't believe me? I don't know what else to tell you. Islander fans could tell me differently, but the most diehard of fans will know, unfortunately, I am right. So I'm thankful for Luke being here. I'm thankful change was made because, as I said before, previous ownership would never have done this. The current ownership, I'll give them a ton of credit where credit is due. They actually did it. So for that, credit where credit is due. I've been trying to find different ways to improve my life in that regard. One of the perks of doing this show is that I could just click live, hit record, and just, I can't snap, go. Just go. And that's one of my favorite things of doing this program is just being able to talk what's on my mind. And, Time to BS allows me to do that also, but not to the degree of, this almost feels like a journal in that regard. So I've been trying to ease my way back into the religious world and whatever, and find purpose in whatever. So Easter was this past weekend for those listening and for those watching on YouTube as we're recording. Easter was this past weekend. And I will be on record in saying I am not, personal opinion of mine, I'm not the biggest fan of organized religion because, just in my mindset, the whole tribalism thing between both sets of religious, non-religious, atheist, whatever I want to call it. The I will die on this hill community, mindset, whatever you want to call it, it's just, that's not for me. So I do read the Bible here and there. I will read it here and there and just go, you know what? What the heck? Why not? I'll go crack open a few pages, sip some coffee, just enjoy myself when I can. And dive deep into, purpose in some way, shape, or form. Because, growing up, I wasn't the most religious person in the world, and, I'm still not. But, I do find a weird peacefulness when reading the Bible and looking at life and God and religion and Jesus from a whole different point of view. Instead of just looking at it as this is how you must live, and this is how you must live your life. Because I don't have to live my life a certain way. I want to live my life a certain way, and I don't have to make people live the life that I live. Because that becomes dangerous. You know what I mean? And we've talked about it here and there on this program, how much I despise tribalism, and we'll get to it later on in the program. But whenever I pick someone's brain about religion and stuff like that, there's always a weird peacefulness that comes to certain people with religion, where it's like they're more at peace as opposed to in years past about the whole, religion is bad or, hey, religion is good. People are at peace now. And I guess that's how I want to live my life, is in a world of peace. Stress-free, worry-free. Just sit back and enjoy what's coming for me. And lower my expectations. You know what I mean? So, I've been slowly trying to find myself in, the world of religion, the world of God, the world of Christianity, Catholicism, Baptist, whatever. My goal is eventually, or one of my goals is to eventually be baptized. However long that may take. But I'm grateful for the life that I have. I'm grateful for the life that I don't have also. Because I made mistakes in my life. I made plenty of mistakes. Who hasn't? And one thing that I've learned from, reading the Bible is, forgiveness. And God forgives. Yeah, I made some pretty shitty mistakes in my life. And I'd be the first to tell you that looking back on it, they made me into the person who I am today. I'm more self-aware and more honest of myself of shit that I've done in my life that I'm not proud of. And I can almost forgive myself and be forgiven because of just accepting that this happened. And, I'm not going to lie, reading the Bible has opened up that realization more and more. And I'm very happy to admit that. I'm very happy to admit that. So, speaking of bullshit, there's Donut being a little shithead that she is. There she goes. So, one more non-sports related topic, and then we'll get onto the sports, because I can. So, I have been very, vocal in regards to on the air, off the air, on Twitter, in real life, if you ever want to call this real life, about the dangers of tribalism. Or the I will die on this hill mindset. And, it's just my personal opinion. It doesn't make me right or wrong or anything. It's just, that's how I view, tribalism. It's like, just because you have an opinion doesn't make you right. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So, I'm not going to get political. I don't want to be political. Politics has never been my forte. It's never been my strong point. I don't give a shit about politics. And there are people out there that will use politics as a hill to die on when it comes to their emotions or their beliefs or whatever the hell. And it's just, it's such a turn off for me. It's such a, it's an ick or a red flag or whatever you want to call it, or whatever the kids call it nowadays. And I am in the personal belief that I will judge you based off the strength of your character, never off your political beliefs, never of your religious beliefs, never of your certain beliefs or whatever the hell you want to call it. If you're a good person, that's all that should matter. That's all it should matter. But no, we have to judge people because of, their political beliefs, religious belief, whatever the fuck. It's so bad. And I don't know where you can point to the finger of blame in this regard, but I don't know. This is me because one of my dangerous traits is nostalgia. I feel nostalgic of growing up where it's like, we'll judge you based off the strength of your character instead of, random shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not the most judgmental person in the world. I admit I do judge people from here and there. But if you're a piece of shit, I'll point you out as you're being a piece of shit. But one of my great flaws is I'll give people the constant benefit of the doubt. So, yeah, that's just where I am at this point in my world. I try to be more wise and more self-aware when it comes to certain things. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Tribalism is fucking stupid. It's just, I will die on this hill whether you like it or not. Screw off. Screw off. So, we're going to take a quick break. We got, this show for some stupid reason ain't free. So that being said, we will be right back after our word from our friends over at La Terrain Watches. Be right back, guys. This show ain't free, so time for some ads.
Adventure doesn't wait, so why should you? Meet the Commodore, our homage watch to the classic GMT watch, engineered for explorers who never stay in one place. Crafted with Swiss precision, 20 ATM water resistance, and a scratch-resistant sapphire crystal, it's built to thrive on every journey, whether by land, sea, or air. Durable, dependable, and designed to fit, the Commodore is ready for every horizon.
Thanks to our friends over at La Terrain Watches for sponsoring Time to BS podcast. Use the promo code TIME2BS at LaTerrain.com for some sweet deals over on the website. That's time, the number 2, and BS at LaTerrain.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Staniel Show podcast. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. I did touch on Lou Lamoriello being let go as GM of the Islanders, and I will say this also one more time. I'm very excited for the potential future of the organization. And, one thing I like to be as a fan is, expectations low, optimism high. You know what I mean? And hopes at a medium. Happy medium. You know what I mean? So, again, I'm very excited to see the possibilities, whatever you want to call it, of the Islanders and so forth. What do you guys think? What do you think of, Lou being let go, expectations of the club going forward? Who's your pick to be the next GM? Are they going to go new GM, new president, or are they going to give one guy both titles? Let me know what you think. Anyone want to talk about the elephant in the room in terms of basketball? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? So, Nico Harrison, huh? I was on No Credentials Required with dear friends of the show, Ryan McCarthy and Dustin Henry of No Credentials Required to talk about the Dallas Mavericks tone deafness of the whole Luka Doncic trade since everything went down, and I am stunned that Nico Harrison still has a job. I am stunned by this discovery here, because if this were Mark Cuban, he would have went scorched earth on Nico. But because of the new ownership group, and since Cubes is no longer the majority owner of the club, he can't go scorched earth, which sucks because, I would love to see that. I personally think the content would be a fucking gold mine. But you're telling me, Nico, you're telling me You didn't think Luka Doncic was that important to the fans? A guy who's arguably, very good argument, for the second best player in the history of this franchise. Very good argument. Well, depending on who you ask, if you're a basketball nut, please interrupt me with Vince Carter, Jason Kidd, or so forth. You know, Christ almighty. When you piss off Dirk Nowitzki, when you piss off that man, good Lord. Good Lord. You fucked up. You fucked up. What you have done has made God very unhappy. Where is it?
What you have done has made God very unhappy.
Where's more?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I mean, I'm not wrong. Like, I will put the tinfoil cap on for this reason. Dustin brought up a good point, and he said there is a possibility that the ownership group of the Mavericks, because they won't get a casino in Dallas, you won't. Try it. They're going to move the Mavericks to Vegas, and I think good effing Lord. Why? This is a team that was in the finals last year. This is a team that, despite losing Luka for a potato chips of what he's worth, top to bottom, not a terrible roster, but they're older players. So, I mean, hey, at least we're here. Yeah, just
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
I'll play it again for you because I coughed on the roadcaster.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Just screaming endlessly. Pain, misery, anarchy. Not chaos, because chaos wouldn't be, more. Chaos wouldn't have worked in this equation. This is just anarchy and stupidity. How tone deaf do you have to be if you're Nico Harrison? How tone deaf do you have to be to go, yeah, I didn't think Luka was that important to the fans? No shit. No shit. How tone deaf are you? Not only are you tone deaf, Nico Harrison, who, by the way, I give it 2 weeks before he's canned. Actually, I give it 2 days. So, you never know at this point. This reminds me of, remember the Giancarlo Stanton trade when the Marlins traded him to the Yankees for potato chips of what he's worth? By the way, a man who is the reigning National League MVP at that time, 2017. How tone deaf do you have to be? Like, this trade almost feels like a full-blown conspiracy theory. Like, if it were to any other team in the NBA, hell, if you traded him to Brooklyn, for God's sakes. Bad example. If it was like, Jesus. Sorry. Still allergies kicking my ass. If it was to, fuck, I don't know, Portland or some shit, then the tinfoil cap wouldn't have gone up. But because it was the Lakers, the tinfoil cap must go on. It's a shame it must come to this. But I can't help but go to that place of the conspiracy theory entering the room. You know what I mean? It's such a weird little shitstorm we got going on over here. I don't know. Hey, baseball's going on. I got a MacBook here so I can see the news rolling around in the sports world. And I'm slowly getting myself into the Seattle Mariners because New York baseball media is toxic. It's bad. It's always Juan Soto this, Aaron Judge this, Yankees this, Aaron Boone that. Like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Where's Dave Chappelle when you need him the most?
Or, here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up.
See, you could just shut the fuck up here, but it's impossible here in New York. It's impossible here in the great state of New York where you can just shut off New York sports radio, especially if you're a sports fan. God bless you. God bless you. So, you know, that's where I am. Shedeur Sanders. He's going to be a Steeler, right? Like, he's going to go to the Steelers. Unless some dipshit is willing to take him at 18, please don't be Seahawks. Please don't. Please, please, please don't be the Seahawks. I will cry if they take Shedeur Sanders. I think it'd be great for a PR move for, like, media purposes because, you know, the guy is a media nightmare, but whatever. Some people are saying Shedeur Sanders could go number 2 to the Browns. Some people are saying Shedeur Sanders can drop as far as 21 to the Steelers. Why? Like, you want to know why he's dropping? Because his footwork isn't great. He's all athlete. And that's pretty much it. He's an athlete. That just so happens to play quarterback. You know, as a great example of that, Johnny Manziel. Jesus, how'd that turn out? I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders is going to be like Johnny Manziel. But I don't know. I mean, I am not as, you know, hands-on when it comes to the draft as I used to be. I haven't really paid attention to the draft at all, honestly, in that this season, this year so far. I'm pumped it's tomorrow. Yay. But I'm not going to lose sight of, you know, hey, draft. I need to focus. Because I don't do that shit for a living. I don't. I would love to, but I don't. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? You know what I mean, String Bean? Speaking of string beans, green bean casserole. God, I'm fat. I hate it. Well, I'm losing weight, but, you know, slowly but surely getting there. Quick break before we close up the show. So, where's our friends at SeatGeek? Ryan, take it away. This show ain't free, so time for some ads.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
Shout out to Colorado Avalanche Gabe Landeskog for playing his first game in 3 years later today. That's fucking awesome. You know what? Where's the delightful sound? Where is it?
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
Wasn't it great? Jesus. Allergies. Damn you. Some final thoughts to close up shop for the day. Quick show. It's usually as it usually goes here on the program of the Staniel Smooth Show. I did also want to mention that, yes, I know that I have said in episodes past that I would be going from, you know, Staniel Smooth Show being belly up to not being belly up to, hey, we're back to being belly up, because it's also a lot easier to upload that way where it's just in one freaking place instead of 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Because it makes more sense that way. Final thoughts. Love yourself for who you are. Don't try to be someone else that you want to be or that you don't want to be. be who you are. You know, there's a lot of people in this world that, let's be honest here, try to be special or try to be a superhero in this regard. Like, play pretend in that regard of, you know, be someone that they're not. And it's all fine and dandy and all, but after a while, it, you know, starts to fade out, and the realization of, oh shit, I'm actually not special, starts to enter your head. Don't try to be anyone else. Just be you. You know what I mean? Just be who. How the heck would I put this carefully without sound like a complete total D-bag? Enjoy the life that you have, not the one that you want. Because the worst thing you could do is be a fraud. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this edition of the Staniel Sue Show. You can find the program on various podcast platforms under the Time to BS with Staniel Smooth page. Follow me on Twitter at Staniel Smooth and at Time to BS Podcast. Instagram, same shit. Clips of the show are located at Staniel Smooth on TikTok and at Time to BS Podcast, the YouTube page. My name is Staniel Smooth. I'm coming to you from the beaches of lovely Long Island, New York, and I will see you all in this life and most certainly the next one. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.